Yeah, let's do like 2 more emails. Daniel from Los Angeles has an email for Dan. Has Dan been to a roller derby match? I've never been, but something tells me that he would enjoy it a whole lot.
You know, I have. I went to one in Minneapolis, and I was all for the idea of like, yeah, this seems like something that some silly, campy, kind of sport, kind of fake thing, whatever the hell it is.
It's sports entertainment.
Exactly. And so I kind of thought, they're like, yeah, it seems like a fun thing to go drink beer at or whatever. And I went, and it was way more confusing than I anticipated. Like, they have all these weird rules and stuff, and it's not...
Yeah, skate past the people. You get 1 point per person you pass, and then you put your hands on your hips to signify the end of the jam.
What?
Yeah, it's weird shit like that.
What?
Yeah, it's super confusing. You don't know
if
anyone's
there's a tie
scoring.
At the end, you have to jump over a fucking alligator.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it got to the point where I had to just stop trying to figure out what was happening and just wait until someone would trip and be like, whoa, they almost fell into the crowd. And that would be exciting for a second. But, yeah, I saw it once, and I was like, nah, this is not...
The one guy had the move where he would jump, he would land on his back on top of somebody who had fallen, and then his move was to just shake.
That's pretty funny.
And he was like an older dude. He was just like that was the most devastating like signature maneuver in the history of the sport. When they tried to like spice it up and really take on wrestling, and they put it on syndicated TV.
I remember
again,
that. Yeah.
Literally, if there was a tie, the tiebreaker involved alligators.
Like live ones?
Yeah.
Is there like a central roller derby governing body?
I think for those, like, you know, back when there was the T-Birds and all those sorts of teams and stuff like that, it was all kind of one show, one touring company, whatever it was. But now it's, people are just doing roller derby on their own on the side, just fucking around.
Sure.
I did like a lot of the creativity in like some of the names the girls gave themselves. Like most of the names were pretty funny, like good puns. Yeah.
So hang on. If you pass somebody, you get a point. If they then pass you, do they also get a point?
No, because you have to be wearing the helmet to score.
Yeah, with like a star on it, and then there's like blockers or something. Yeah. It's fucking confusing.
Weird.
That'd be great.
How violent does it actually get? Like, it kind of has a reputation for like
around.
Okay, but it's not like written into the rules that you can like throw an elbow whenever you want.
I mean, you're not getting punched in the face and stuff.
I mean, it's worked. It's not real. Like it's like yes, you can elbow whatever you want.
It's not a roller ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There should be a rollerball league.
There should be.
I was surprised when I went to my first monster truck rally that like that's worked too at times. Like they would have these little races in between the monster truck parts where there were like heels who was like, man, Kansas City sucks. All you hicks in Kansas City. I'm from Missouri. And then like the Kansas boy like would make a super dramatic thing at the end to beat the Missouri guy. Like they would have this worked stuff. I don't know if the actual monster truck stuff like whoever smashed the most cars or however the hell that works.
But like the weird between
the race.
Stuff, huh?
Yeah, it'd be a bunch of dudes on ATVs with like a very clear heel and a very clear baby face, and it came down to those two at the very end.
Terrific.
It's weird.
Sounds about right.
Can we just say good guy and bad guy?
We should.
Nope.
None of us are wrestlers. We shouldn't talk their talk.
I'm talking about face and heel.
Wrestling fans say baby face and heel.
Yeah, the asshole ones. Like the scumbags
really?
that tried it. Yeah.
You don't say good guy and bad guy when it comes to wrestlers, do you?
Face and heel are not Jeff-endorsed terms?
I think that, there's a certain amount of, like, I've definitely seen wrestlers bristle at people who are not wrestlers using those terms.
Really?
I think face and heel are commonplace enough now. Like, okay, I know wrestlers.
I think it's a weirdly old school thing that is no longer a thing anymore. But
I think there are lines you don't cross. Like, I know wrestlers that they refer to everything as a gimmick. Like, if I'm picking up my phone, like, oh, let me pick up my gimmick and check this. Or they'll call a chair a gimmick. Like, oh, let me sit in this gimmick here. Like, that's stupid if you're not one of the boys or whatever.
I think even if you are, that's a dumb thing.
It's silly, but that is a thing that wrestlers do. But I think for a fan, I think like face and heel is acceptable without being a total douchebag.
I guess, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, I fall into that trap sometimes, and I always feel like an idiot when I do.
I mean, I don't talk about like work rate and stuff like that. Like, I think those are like
I don't know if that's not even real.
Oh, okay.
Learn something new every day.
There are a lot of asshole wrestling fans.
Actually, I just learned multiple things because I also just learned what it means to work something.
Oh, for
something to be worked.
Well, if it's real, it's a shoot.
What?
It's a shoot or it's a work.
Because you are shooting them straight.
Or there's also such thing as a worked shoot.
But when is it ever real in wrestling?
Let's say, me and you are wrestling a match, Brad, and let's say you hit me with a potato, which means you hit me with a punch that was a little too stiff. So you really kind of like you potatoed me.
Okay.
It turns into a shoot if I throw you one back. That's called a receipt. If I give you a receipt, and then we start potatoing each other back and forth, then it's a shoot fight. then we're really fighting.
So at a certain point,
At some point, you go into business for yourself.
okay, the combatants get angry enough at each other that they're actually that it's on.
At the level of like a national level like WWE, like you're not going to see that much. Like,
Okay.
if somebody gets a receipt or something.
They're too
it's like,
professional.
yeah, pretty much. Like
Okay.
you're not going to see straight up shoot fights in the big leagues.
Any of the times that blood appears in the ring, are those the results of people going too far? And
That's called if you're bleeding and if you're not juicing, if you're not getting color, if you're not taking your gig out.
Go on. Yeah.
dude, I can't do this anymore.
You're asking me questions.
Can't take your
You're just
gig
making
out.
shit up at this point.
I swear to God, all this is real terms.
I know exactly what he's saying. I know exactly what he's talking about. I hate myself, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
If you bleed and if you're not juicing, not getting color, that's bleeding the hard way. So let's say you potato me after I potatoed you and you give me a receipt back. If I'm bleeding out of my eye, that's bleeding the hard way.
You bust him open hard way.
That's not me getting color. That's hard way.
Oh
Getting
boy.
color is like a capsule.
No, it's blood. Like they take the gig, the razor blade out. It's usually
it's where you're marking yourself up.
yeah. They usually take it out of the wristband, or the referee hands it to him, or like guys like Ric Flair would like keep it between their teeth, like crazy people, like old school guys. And you take it out, and you just so let's say you hit me with the chair, and I'm supposed to get color, Drew. So you hit me with the chair, and I go, and I fall down, and it's kind of a misdirection thing. You parade around the ring with the chair or whatever, and you get everyone to look at you, or you yell at the crowd, while I'm down there, and the camera's not on me, and I just take the gig out, and I get some color. I just do a little cut on my forehead, and
An actual cut.
Oh, yeah.
You cut your own forehead.
this anytime blood has
Look
happened.
at some old wrestlers and look at their fucking foreheads.
Look at
The
Dusty
guys that-
Rhodes.
Yeah, like the scarring is real.
It's taffy. It just looks like taffy.
Ugh.
Now keep in mind, now this other little thing, take about 40 aspirin before the match so your blood's really thin.
Yeah, and maybe a bunch of beer. And so that way, the thing is, it doesn't cause a lot of pain, especially for these guys that are on a bunch of pain pills and shit like that.
Don't take 40 aspirin.
No.
Ever.
But yeah, they cut it so it doesn't hurt them much, but visually it adds a lot. Look at old Ric Flair matches, old Dusty Rhodes matches, like those guys they're getting a lot of color.
Okay, so it's not just something that happens incidentally and whoa.
It's rare. I mean, like last night on Raw, Roman Reigns got a cut and he was bleeding in his mouth. Like that was just
But
a
like
thing
they're,
that happened.
they're rated PG now. At no point do they induce bleeding. There's not
Except for once. CM Punk in a cage match with Jerry Lawler. I was there live, and when Lawler whips him into the ropes, you can see him very quickly. He gigs his forehead very quickly, and so yeah, he bladed there just because I think it's such an old school thing to like
Sure. Yeah,
bleed in a cage match with Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
that's the only time in the PG era I've ever seen an actual blade job. But yeah, it's whenever you see like the Crimson Mask. The Crimson Mask is all
when you
from
don the crimson mask.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're cutting your forehead.
I hate myself.
I assume these guys have to be, well, at least in that era. Well, maybe not. Tested all the time for. Yeah.
Oh wait, are you talking about like for like STDs and stuff? Bob Orton, Randy Orton's dad, was positive for hepatitis C and bladed in a match involving the Undertaker. Undertaker was fighting Randy Orton, and Randy Orton, positive for hep C, comes in and blades.
Randy Orton or Bob Orton?
Bob Orton.
Okay.
So he was bleeding, and they had not informed the Undertaker ahead of time that he was positive for hepatitis C.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And Taker was pissed
That's
off.
real
backstage
fucked up.
afterwards. Yeah.
I do not blame him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
Wrestling's weird.
wrestling
It's the best
is
thing.
fucking stupid.
It's a bunch of carny shit.
Holy shit.
Always has been.
It really is.
Always will be.
Wow.
It could be $1 billion public company. It is still a bunch of fucking weird carny shit. Still, I mean, they're breeding it out over time. There's less and less talk. Like no one's talking about their gig anymore.
For the record, I never use those terms normally.
No,
I just wanted
know,
to sound
I
like
know,
as
I
much of a
know,
wrestling
I know,
douche
I
as
know.
possible.
Came in handy for Game of the Year. When you like were dropping all that lingo in the video.
I was keeping it kayfabe.
Yeah. Exactly.
We have to stop this.
With Joseph.
Let's move on. It's the last email.
What have we become?
I can go for
No
a while.
anymore.